We are getting a Battle of Pennsylvania for, I think, the first time in, 14 years?
Since, I think, 2012.
It's a long, long time and long overdue. Now, before we get into this, just a reminder, download the Spark app or click the link in the description. We want you to be a part of our massive playoff bracket here at SDPN. Over 10,000 people signed up last year in less than 4 days. It's going to be even bigger this year. Definitely get your picks in because there's an enormous prize, which we have yet to announce. But it's going to be big. It's going to be huge. Now, Pennsylvania, all right, this has been a very weird 10, 12 years there. The Flyers, really up and down. The Penguins, mostly up, lately down, back up again. And it feels a little sad that Claude Giroux isn't here to enjoy it, but what do we make of
like he died.
He's in Ottawa. He's in Ottawa. They could still meet, but it's not the same without Giroux there. I don't even know where to start with this, so I guess I'll start with goaltending. And Dan Vladar's had a great season, but Stuart Skinner's been to back-to-back cups.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, those are true statements.
Those are true statements. It might be using the truth to lie, but
he was playing in all their Stanley Cup games. Yes, each time he went to the Stanley Cup Finals, they did need some Calvin Pickard magic sprinkled in there in the second round.
Yes, he will be part of the equation there.
You got Artur Shilovs too.
We know he can play games. We know he can rise to the occasion. Will he is the big old question. Never at the beginning of the season did I imagine there would be a Penguins-Flyers series and we would be previewing it going, well, the Flyers have a clear advantage in net. What?
So you say clear advantage.
I do. Dan Vladar has been consistent all season long. Stuart Skinner arrived in Pittsburgh, was unplayable, then great, and then not very good.
888 save percentage with the Penguins this year. Shilovs,
which in 2026 is not a disaster. It's also not good.
889 Shilovs.
Same thing.
Jesse Blake.
To me, this series starts with how unbelievable it is that we are here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last July, August, there was one team who was selling, and that was the Pittsburgh Penguins. We guaranteed that they were going to finish 32nd, and Kyle Dubas is doing his whole rebuild thing, and they are going to be so bad. And all season long, they've been one of the most consistent playoff teams in that Metro division. And then the Philadelphia Flyers, on the other hand, on February 1st, were 8th in the wild card race. So that's third last in the entire Eastern Conference.
That's unbelievable.
They had 58 points. They were 24, 20, and 10, and 9 points back of the Buffalo Sabres, who were in the second wild card spot. The Philadelphia Flyers had a worse record than the Leafs, the Sens, the Panthers, the Capitals, the Jackets, and all of a sudden they're third in the Metro after going on an unreal run from the Olympic break onwards.
And let me just add to that. In the 14 games before the Olympic break, 3-8-3.
Terrible.
3-8-3. You're toast at that point.
The Metro was there for the taking for a team to get hot. That's all you had to do. Get hot, and it's yours because that third spot, the points are going to be so low. And the Flyers said, bet, we can get hot. And they did. Mm-hmm. And they're still hot to end the season.
You two found it ridiculous that I said the Flyers are hanging around maybe 2 haircuts ago.
And the Flyers fans have really let us away with that. They have definitely not reminded us of that every day. Yeah.
And by the way, whenever we're referring, we say, Flyers fans. It's just Insider J.
Insider J Money.
Yeah, you're right.
This should be Insider J Money Panderfest because the Flyers have done what you thought maybe they could.
Yeah.
But it is impossible that they did it considering what they were for 54 games of the season.
Yeah.
This is one of the least likely playoff series in the entire league. If you go back to what the majority of people thought, not just us, the majority of people thought
for both teams
was going to be for both teams. The fact they're playing each other is wild.
It's unbelievable we're here.
Yeah. Now I'm looking at the rosters here, and both of these teams have people that when they were acquired, everybody just kind of didn't pay attention to it. I want to start because I want to go to defense here first, and then we'll go to forwards. I'm going to bring up some other names when we go to forward. But one name that really stands out for me is Parker Witherspoon for the Pittsburgh Penguins. What a season he's had. 80 games played, 30 points. This is just, before this season, what did you know about Parker Witherspoon?
That he's a guy who's sort of hanging on to his NHL career a little bit.
Had played a little bit with the Islanders, a little bit with the Bruins. Had played, I think, a total of like just over 100 games. 80 games this season, 30 points. That's crazy. And I think just a big part of who Pittsburgh is. He's 28, so an ultra late bloomer, 6'1", 190 pounds, not a lot of size, but brings an element to that back end that I think, had he not been there, the loss of, I think, Chris Letang's skills. And I say that with complete reverence, because Chris Letang should have retired like 5 times throughout his career.
Time comes for us all.
This is a guy who has kind of come in and filled a little bit of that role.
Big time. And like, you want to talk about found money and why the stock in Kyle Dubas is so high. Anthony Mantha
Is a forward,
I know, but dangerously in the category of like Anthony Beauvillier a little bit.
like a suitcase.
Who I think, wasn't he a Penguin?
Yeah,
briefly.
he was. And a Blackhawk, and a Canuck,
yeah,
and an Islander.
Acquiring Anthony Mantha once upon a time was very exciting. This like 6'5" or 6'4"
speed demon,
very tall, very skilled forward who we kept waiting to emerge and then never really did. And when the Penguins got him, it was a big Kermit the Frog. Like I just didn't really care. And you know, think of the value the Penguins have gotten up front from Mantha and on D from Witherspoon that not a lot of people put their stamp on. Yeah, man, the thing that's going to turn this around right here, Mantha and Witherspoon.
Yeah, and you know, no Letang in the lineup as if like the lateness of this thing. Obviously, Ryan Shea, Ryan Graves still there. Ryan Graves is still playing hockey for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
You know, maybe Dubas wasn't wrong. He was just early.
Now, looking at this defense, I'm just gonna give you the Penguins defense for how it's laid out late in the season, right? Because we don't know with injuries and that sort of thing where it's all gonna be. You've got Shea, Clifton, Graves, Solovyev. I can never. Solovyev, yes, and then it's like guy, and then you've got Philly, Sanheim, Ristolainen, Cam York, Drysdale, Sealer, and Andre. And I think there's a lot more name brand recognition there. But the way Dan Muse has the Penguins playing, you kind of go, does it matter? By the way, Erik Karlsson's in that mix too.
Yeah, a rejuvenated Erik Karlsson. Somehow he hadn't come up yet. It kind of makes me think about playoff style. We were just having another conversation on the main show about everything about the Flyers, like the way they play, stingy, which is just not something I'm used to saying about the Philadelphia Flyers generationally. But they do have some trouble scoring goals, but they're just extremely stingy. Does that lend itself to playoff hockey? Well, it's Rick Tocchet. We've seen playoff hockey work under Rick Tocchet, both as a player and as a coach. Dan Muse, it still remains to be seen. And some people are going to roll their eyes at that. Do not pretend it's the same rule book. Stop.
It is not.
The game changes.
Jesse, who do you give the edge to? I mean, obviously, I think the edge is with Philly on when it comes to goaltending. When it comes to defense, who do you give it to?
I'm giving the edge to Philly just for the defensive system that Rick Tocchet has them playing. And that's not just about the guys on the back end. And you say Parker Witherspoon, I raise you Jamie Drysdale if we're talking about talented players on the back end. It's the system that he has the forwards playing and the defensemen playing. It's a whole team effort. And I'll run through some of the numbers I mentioned on the main show for those of you out there who listen to this who might not listen to the Steve Dangle podcast. The Flyers, since the Olympic break, on the power play, they are 30th in the league. On the penalty kill, they are 28th in the league. On shots per game 4, they are 27th in the league. But they are winning games despite that because on the other end, shots against, they are 5th in the league, and goals against, they've only allowed 2.4 goals per game, which is 2nd in the league since the Olympic break. Rick Tocchet has them playing an incredible defensive system as a team as a whole, and I think that'll continue in the playoffs because that's not just something you lose. If it's just the guys need to execute and do their jobs, I think that's something they can hold to from game 82 to game 83. So I'm giving the edge to the Flyers.
So I want to talk about forwards now. Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin,
No. Adam, for the audience, who is that?
Brian Rust back in the playoffs. We love that. Ricard Raquel having a very good year after we thought I think he was injured early in the season too.
Like one of the hottest players in the NHL for like a month at least.
It's a group that's been there. It's a group that's performed well when they've been there. Like Brian Rust is, a half a point a game player in the playoffs. Obviously, Crosby and Malkin, whatever. But I think you brought up Anthony Mantha earlier, and we got to bring him up again. This is a guy who had 62 points this year. Huge. And another two guys I want to bring up because they're important. Tommy Novak, who they got for basically nothing from the Preds, has had 42 points. And then Chinakhov, since coming over from Columbus, man, he could have really helped them make the playoffs and play the Pittsburgh Penguins. 36 points in 43 games with the Penguins. That's behind Tommy Novak and Ricard Raquel for like top 10 in the team in scoring. That's amazing.
And at the time we're recording this, I think he's day-to-day, but like Ben Kindle.
Yeah.
He's
in the lineup as of this recording.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's so many guys who it shouldn't work.
I'll give you another guy. Connor Dewar, 30 points in 78 games.
Yeah, the Leafs just got that wrong. They got that wrong. He was fine on the Wild, went to the Leafs, and was instantly fine the moment he got to Pittsburgh. They just used him wrong.
One of the things that the Leafs always struggled with in the Dubas era, Jesse, was size up front. So Dubas decided to get the biggest man in the league. That is 6'8" Elmer Soderblom. His weight is 252 pounds.
Unreal.
That's a Clydesdale.
It's such a testament to everything they're struggling with in Detroit.
Yeah.
In that they kind of gave up on this player and then he goes to Pittsburgh and that's a useful NHLer and he's a very important part of that lineup.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm looking at Philadelphia too here. I mean, they made some really interesting pickups too. Zegras, they've done some business with Anaheim before, so that Zegras trade sort of made sense, right?
Anaheim owed them that one.
They got Christian Dvorak, and people were like, $5.1 million.
I didn't love that deal at all, and
he's been great.
Hands up, wrong.
He's been great for them, and then signed that big extension midway through the season, which again, people like myself included were like, really? Then you've got Owen Tippett. I want to talk about Owen Tippett. This is a guy who last year struggled a little bit. 43 points, a little bit down from where he was supposed to be. He's got 51. That's in line with his career averages. Mitch Koff has come on lately. Noah Cates has had a good season. Sanheim's had a good season. And another guy that I think is important, Sean Couturier.
Yeah. A guy who the casual fan might have assumed retired 5 years ago.
Yeah.
He's still going.
He's only 33.
I know.
He's captain of the team.
And missed an entire season. A season and a half, really.
It is incredible he's in the league.
Yeah.
Given everything he's been through.
And remember, last year at this time, Torts was benching him.
Oh, yeah. It's healthy scratching the captain.
It's
hard to believe that was a calendar year ago.
Both of these teams have to be given credit, I think, for being very intelligent with some of the players. And by the way, another name I just want to give you, Luke Glendening, who is still playing as well. There are guys that they just sort of pick out and they've worked. And so this series, I think, is going to be, forgive me if I'm wrong, I think it's going to be nastier than people expect. I don't think this is going to be a nice series.
I don't think there's a way for it to be nastier than I expect, because I expect it to be nasty by default.
I guess.
You're looking at the names on the backs of the jerseys. No, the crest does something to you. Those guys hate each other on principle.
I think I would be meaner if I played in Philadelphia.
I think you'd be meaner to Philadelphia if you played in Pittsburgh.
That's true. Now, what do you guys think about Crosby and Malkin in this series? This could be the last real run that they have. We don't think that's the case, but it could be. What do we think about their effect on the series? Because to me, it lives and dies for Pittsburgh on those two players.
I mean, it's a valid question to ask. Can the Penguins get it done with Crosby or Malkin in the lineup? Can they play playoff hockey? Can they adapt? No, I mean, they're how in the same way that a goon, allegedly makes players play like they're 6 inches taller.
Mm-hmm.
How does having Crosby and Malkin not have the same effect on the lineup up front, and then on the other side of the bench? Oh, that's Erik Karlsson.
Yeah.
And even if he's in a limited role and he's been struggling, if Chris Letang gets in there too, even sharing a room with him, even sharing practice with him, maybe not sharing lunch with Erik Karlsson, as we discovered recently, because he eats like a raccoon, but that experience is going to go a long way for some of the guys on that roster.
Jesse, do you think a guy like Porter Martone, who just stepped out of the NCAA, is going to be able to just walk in here, play Sidney Crosby and Geno Malkin in the top 6 for Philadelphia and be okay?
We see the NCAA kids come in all the time and have no fear. I think there's a level of ignorance that plays into being 19 and stepping into the NHL where you don't know you're supposed to be intimidated, and there's something magical about that. So I think he goes in there and he doesn't know what he doesn't know, so he's going to be playing with no fear.
Yeah, and boy, he's been red hot.
Yeah.
Who do you give the edge to on forwards? I feel like it's got to be Pittsburgh, just because of Crosby and Malkin, and Rust and Raquel and all those other guys, but it's Crosby and Malkin.
Yeah, I would throw, definitely Raquel at the forefront of that. I'd say Pittsburgh, but obviously Martone is a crazy monkey wrench.
Jesse, what about you?
Yeah, the Flyers do struggle to score and have even during all of their winnings, so I think slight edge to the Pittsburgh forwards.
So let's get to our predictions then. Jesse, do you want to kick us off?
Sure, Flyers in 6.
Flyers in 6.
Wow.
Well, they're not allowing goals, and the playoffs are notorious for if you're strong defensively, you're going to make it all the way through. I think about the 2012 LA Kings. They were like, they could not score, but they didn't allow anything in, and then they got Jeff Carter.
And then they got you, and then didn't lose. We deserve a 7-game series.
We do, and I'm picking a 7-game series.
In 7 games, Pittsburgh.
I will say Pittsburgh as well in 7 games. Make sure you fill out your brackets. Check it out right now. Links in the description.
Hey, did you like the thing you just watched?
Was it hilarious?
Was it informative?
Was it me losing my mind?
Possibly. Potentially. Most of the time it is. Hey, listen, if you like what SDPN has to offer, you should check out more of our videos and subscribe to our channel by clicking subscribe, or Steve will find you.